Okay, hear me out. Maybe you're a guitar player and you only know the minor pentatonic scale. That doesn't mean that you can't craft a compelling and awesome guitar solo. I'm Spencer with Pickup Music, and today I'm gonna give you some cheat codes to show you how to do just that. With just a couple simple guidelines, you're gonna take notes and shapes that you already know and use them to craft a solo that sounds musical and confident. It doesn't have to be difficult. Let's get started. Cheat code number 1, lock into the grid. The rhythmic grid, that is. Whatever you play it with rhythmic conviction. It's so important. You want to talk about a real cheat code? That's how I passed all my performance classes in college. I just played like I really meant it. That's jazz, baby. I'm just kidding, but when we're soloing, we're directing the listener, so we have to create the illusion that we know what we're doing, and there's no better way to do that than by landing on strong beats and acting like we meant it. What's gonna help you do that right away, if you're not already doing it, is counting and making sure we know what beat we're landing on, and above all else, landing on a beat. That doesn't necessarily mean 1, 2, 3, 4. Could be the and of one, the E, the whatever. But if you're landing in between those things, or you're unaware of where your notes are landing, that can cause a real problem. So, a great exercise for you, take your minor pentatonic scale and give yourself some parameters. Say, hey, I'm gonna improvise using just quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then try just eighth notes. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, on 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And then you really know exactly how long each note you're playing is, where you're landing, and things are in time. People will thank you for that. Cheat code number 2, can you sing it? We want to play music that gets stuck in people's heads. And how do we do that? By playing something with a melody, which means not this. We don't want to just drop some heavy weights and set off the lunk alarm at the Planet Fitness. Think about your favorite guitar solos. What is it about them that you enjoy? Is it that the note count is a digit of pi that has not yet been reached by the human mind? Or is it that it has a catchy melody that you actually like? A lot of guitar players say, oh, well, this guy just uses the minor pentatonic scale, or, I only know the minor pentatonic scale. Well, some of the most iconic guitar solos of all time are just using the minor pentatonic scale. And they can do that because they have a great sense of melody and they're telling a story. Take this famous and utterly singable AC/DC solo, for example. Now sing it back to me. Okay, yeah, pretty good. Cheat code number 3, answer your own questions. We want to tell a complete story, but in an even smaller setting, we just want to speak in complete sentences, right? You may think back to grade school when you're learning about a subject and a predicate, or you might... See, it felt a little weird, right? So you could think the same way when you're soloing. If I did something like this, feels like there was a setup and an answer to it. For example, you might have a phrase that goes up, you could answer it with a phrase that goes down, ascending, then descending, or the opposite, or... things that are rhythmic sequences. It's not any hard and fast specific rule, it's just playing that feels conversational. Propose an idea, and then you propose something that finishes off the idea. Cheat code number 4, not all notes are created equal. Now, I know this may be difficult for some of you to accept, but it's just the truth. Not all notes in all keys are created equally. And what I mean by that is some notes are notes that you would want to sustain. And some notes are notes that you may want to use as passing tones, but maybe you wouldn't want to land on and hold for a long time because they might not sound great over chords you're playing. Chord tones are notes that exist in the chord you're playing over. And chord tones typically sound good when you're playing over that chord, right? If I'm playing an A major chord and I play a C sharp, that's pretty safe because that note is in the chord. But if I'm playing an A major chord and I play a C natural, it's going to sound a little crunchy because we've got this half step. Now, if I'm in a band that sounds like this, that might be just what the doctor ordered, but that's not always the case. So you just need to be aware of those sorts of things. Cheat code number 5, bend the sweet spots. This is almost like an addition to number 4, but you really want to pay attention to your bending with any scale, but especially with our minor pentatonic scale. It's very easy to bend our notes out of tune, out of key. I have a lot of students that will just bend random notes in their minor pentatonic scale. And then they'll look at me and say, why does this sound bad? You know, little Timmy, we're playing in A minor, and yet you're doing a half step bend on your A note. So you're playing over an A minor chord, and you're playing a B flat note, which would sound like this. There are just certain notes that you want to avoid bending because they're going to put you out of key. Here's a little cheat code. If you bend your 3 or your 4 or your 7 whole steps, you'll end up with notes still in your minor pentatonic scale. The rest of your notes, just treat them as handle with care bends when you're starting off. That's your game shark for bending the sweet spots. That was our 5 cheat codes for minor pentatonic soloing. Above all else, you want to serve the music, not yourself. It's important to remember, nobody cares how many notes you play if they sound bad or they're out of time. It's always going to be better to play something simple and sound great doing it than to just put yourself out there setting yourself up for failure, trying to play something that's like way too hard or you're not ready for. You should set yourself up for success. The audience wants to see you succeed. Everybody wants to have a good time. So remember that. It's a team effort, and you've got 5 cheat codes to get started on your way to pentatonic soloing mastery.
Subscribe and like this video if you want to see more free lessons here on YouTube. And if you want to go further with your guitar playing and have a guided learning system, go to Pick Up Music to start your free 14-day trial.